I'm pregnant. Wait, you two had an affair? How did they end up in such a relationship? There's nothing to be done about it. We fell in love. What I'm trying to say is, the infertile, good-for-nothing one should leave.
I'm gonna build a happy home with Liz, so you go lead your lonely life with Mom. Now get out quick.
Yes, I'll leave, but remember, you're leaving too. My name is Sophie, a 32-year-old housewife. I've been married to Chester for 5 years. We met at a party. I was invited just to make up the numbers, but as I sat next to him and we talked, we hit it off and started seeing each other. After several dates, he confessed his feelings and we started dating. Conversations with him were always enjoyable. I'm introverted, not very proactive in love. I wasn't the type to get a lot of attention. It had been a while since I had a boyfriend, so this was my first romance in years. He adjusted to my pace, treating me kindly. He was always thoughtful, contacting me regularly and planning our dates carefully. Drawn to his attentiveness, I found myself falling for him more and more, and our relationship smoothly continued. About 1.5 years into our relationship, he proposed to me.
I can be my true self around you, Sophie, and it's very comforting. I want to be with someone like that forever. So marry me, stay by my side.
With those words, he handed me a ring. Thank you. I want to marry you, Chester. We then held a family meeting and held our wedding. Afterwards, we went on our honeymoon and started living together upon returning.
I want you to be a housewife after we're married.
I quit my job and became a housewife. Since then, I've been diligently doing housework. I did the cleaning and laundry thoroughly and cooked elaborate meals every day, waiting for Chester's return.
Sophie, your cooking's always delicious. I look forward to coming home. Thank you.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Thank you for working hard and supporting us. We continue to express our gratitude to each other, living our days full of love. Even after our marriage, Chester remained kind and cherished me deeply. Our married life was incredibly fun and happy. Time flew by and 3 years had passed. However, we had one major concern as a couple. We were struggling to have children. We'd always wanted kids and tried hard, but there seemed to be no sign of it happening. Chester would say,
"Let's just wait for it to happen naturally."
But after 3 years with no success, it was understandably upsetting. I had fertility tests done just in case, and they showed no issues. Chester was reluctant to get tested at first, but I don't want to be left with lingering doubts, I said, and eventually he agreed to the tests. But there were no problems with Chester either, leaving us perplexed as to why we couldn't conceive. We were still in our early 30s, though, so we believed there was still hope. That was when something unsettling happened to me. It was a call from my sister Liz. "Sophie, long time no see, how have you been?" "Liz, what's up?" "Oh, come on, such a gloomy response to a call from your sister after so long." "Well, you haven't been in touch for ages." The number she called from was unknown to me. She must have changed her number. Liz has always been incredibly selfish, spoiled, and unmanageable since we were kids. It was tough for our parents. During her high school years, she was particularly rebellious, frequently going out at night and causing our mom a lot of trouble. As soon as she graduated high school, she left home. Mom and I tried to contact her many times, but "It's fine," she'd say, never revealing her whereabouts. After persistent questioning, she finally admitted she was making a living through night work. Our dad had passed away when we were young, and Mom raised both me and Liz. I helped with household chores and took care of Liz to lessen Mom's burden, so I always saw Liz somewhat like a child I was responsible for. But to Liz, all that seemed more like a nuisance. When Liz was in high school, she would mock me. "Sophie, you're just so plain, always staying home instead of hanging out with friends, and no sign of a boyfriend either. I'm nothing like you. I wouldn't want to introduce you to my friends." "Why would you say something like that?" "Sophie, you think you're a good sister just because you worry about me, don't you? You hypocrite." I can't believe. Liz was really unpleasant back then, her words harsh and hurtful. Since then, I've had a hard time dealing with Liz. After leaving home, Liz would occasionally show up at our parents' house every few years, always asking Mom for money. Mom, feeling sorry for her struggling life, had been giving her money, but recently she stopped indulging her. That must be why Liz contacted me. I had no intention of giving her money, but then Chester approached me.
"Sophie? Oh, sorry, were you on the phone?"
Chester looked apologetic, but Liz heard his voice. "I want to meet your husband." Well, that's a bit... Why? I want to meet your husband." Liz was shouting like that. It seemed Chester could hear too. I forcibly hung up the phone.
"If you finally got in touch with Liz, why not meet her?"
Chester said. Refusing would make me look bad, so reluctantly I arranged for the three of us to meet. On the day of, Liz exclaimed, "Wow, this is your husband?" She looked at Chester with interest and bombarded him with questions. Chester answered each one politely, and surprisingly, they got along well. Though I didn't want much to do with Liz, I was happy to see Chester getting along with my family, but I never imagined that this would lead to such an incident. After that, Liz started visiting our house regularly. She no longer said awful things to me like before, but I was unsure when she might start asking for money or become rude again. In the midst of this, I heard that Mom had developed mobility issues and needed regular medical visits. I wanted to go back home for a while to see Mom and decide on future arrangements, but that meant I couldn't do the housework. Would Chester be okay with it? I hesitantly brought it up, and to my surprise, Chester readily agreed.
Your mom needs you, right? It's okay.
Really? Thank you. I quickly prepared and went to Mom. Her condition was worse than I expected. She obviously needed more than just medical visits. She required caregiving. Mom, probably out of consideration, hadn't mentioned it. I started thinking about possibly moving in together. I was contemplating how to discuss this with Chester. Amidst all this, something unimaginable happened. My father-in-law, Bert, suddenly fell ill and was hospitalized. Chester called me out of the blue and I rushed to the hospital. Bert had suffered a stroke and would be hospitalized for a while. While taking care of Mom, I also visited Bert in the hospital.
Sophie, I feel bad for making you do all this.
No, it's fine.
Chester hardly comes to visit.
What, really?
Yeah, he seems distracted at work too. I wonder what's going on.
Bert. I felt disillusioned with Chester after hearing this. Bert had been living alone since losing his wife, years ago. He must have been relying on his son. Yet why wasn't Chester visiting him? 3 months later, Bert's condition worsened, and he passed away. Throughout this time, Chester apparently never visited him. Chester claimed he was
too busy with work.
But was that really the case? Well, I had been with Mom for a long time, so I didn't really know how Chester had been spending his time. After Bert's funeral, I returned home to decide on the future. I was worried about Mom, so I wanted to live with her in her house, or in our house with Chester if possible. I planned to go home soon to discuss this. That's when Liz suddenly called me. Hello? Liz, what's up? I hadn't seen Liz in a while and had no idea why she was calling. I need to talk to you. Talk? Yeah, I'm pregnant. What? Pregnant? Liz wasn't married. I didn't even know she was seeing someone. You've been seeing someone? Yeah, you'd be surprised to know who the dad is. Who is it? It's Chester. Chester? You mean... There's only one, your husband, Sophie. Wait, you two had an affair? Well, it just happened, but it was bound to, right? Liz was having an affair with my husband, Chester. How did they end up in such a relationship? Anyway, I'm more suitable for him than you. You can have kids, and I'm prettier. If I had met him first, I would have been the one to marry him. What are you saying? Don't try to justify stealing him. You had an affair with my husband. It can be helped. We fell in love. What I'm trying to say is the infertile, useless one should leave. Unbelievable. Liz had always looked down on me. This was the worst. I understand. I'll leave. With that, I hung up and decided to return home to start divorce proceedings with Chester.
Oh, good. You're here.
When I arrived home, Chester greeted me with a smile. You're the worst.
Oh, sorry, but it's your fault. You couldn't have kids. The infertility is your responsibility.
I haven't been diagnosed with infertility. It's just unfortunate that we haven't had children yet, right?
Maybe the hospital made a mistake in your diagnosis? After all, I got Liz pregnant right away. Right, Liz?
Chester said, and Liz approached, laughing. Sorry, I got pregnant so quickly, Liz said, rubbing her belly. Our child is definitely going to be beautiful.
Yeah, in retrospect, it's good it wasn't with Sophie. I'll build a happy home with Liz. You go live a lonely life with your mom.
Chester and Liz laughed heartily. All right, but I'll live happily with Mom. Could you sign the divorce papers while I pack?
Sure.
While I gathered my belongings, Chester and Liz cheerfully filled out the forms. Now we could finally be together.
Yeah, we'll truly be husband and wife. I'm so happy.
Let's celebrate with a trip.
Great, let's go before your belly gets too big. Maybe we should go abroad.
Yeah, like Paris or London. As Chester and Liz excitedly planned, I finished packing and approached them. Are you done signing them?
Yeah, this is the end of our relationship. Now get out.
Yes, I'll leave, but you're leaving too.
What? What are you talking about? This is my house.
Have you lost your mind?
Shocked from the divorce, perhaps.
Well, it can't be helped.
Stop talking nonsense and just leave.
Do you remember who owns this house?
Me.
No, it was your father, Bert.
Huh? Oh, right, but he passed away last year, so it should have been inherited by me, right?
Unfortunately, Bert didn't leave anything to you.
What? Then who inherited it?
Your uncle.
My uncle?
You didn't visit Bert in the hospital, right? He was disgusted with you. Maybe he even knew about the affair. He tried to reduce any inheritance left to you as much as possible, transferring most to your uncle while he was alive. So this house you're living in, it belongs to your uncle now.
What? I could just ask my uncle to let us stay, right?
Why would your uncle, Bert's brother, allow that when Bert himself didn't? The house is already on the market.
What do you mean?
Where will we live then? I don't care. Then we'll live at Mom's. Sophie, you go somewhere else.
What are you saying? That's not acceptable. Mom cut ties with you. Besides, you did nothing for her when she was ill.
I felt awkward returning. If you really cared about a parent, you'd visit regardless, or at least contact them, right? You clearly don't care about Mom. You just want a place to stay. That's not true. Well, Mom said she doesn't want to see your face anymore. What? All right, please leave quickly. I said that and left the house. Chester and Liz were frozen with pale faces. After that, I submitted the divorce papers to the courthouse and returned to my parents' house. Then I hired a lawyer and demanded compensation from Chester and Liz. I sent a certified mail to Chester's workplace, ensuring that if he failed to pay, his wages would be garnished. This way, I was sure to receive the compensation. I moved to a new house with Mom. Our family home had many steps, and the stairs to the second floor were steep, making it hard for Mom to live there. So we decided to move to a handicap-friendly apartment. I anticipated that Liz and Chester might suddenly come and try to take over the family home. Therefore, I had the house razed to the ground in advance and turned it into a parking lot. We decided to use the income from the parking lot to supplement our living expenses. The new house was incredibly comfortable, and Mom seemed to be living more easily. The rooms were spacious, and with minimal furniture, it seemed suitable for wheelchair living. Also, I successfully found a job. Now I'm happily working and earning a good income. With the parking lot income, we're living quite comfortably. I was spending peaceful and calm days with Mom, but then Liz suddenly called. What the heck? Why is our family home turned into a parking lot? Oh, you went to the house? I thought you'd eventually come crawling back to our family home in desperation. So, Mom and I took care of it in advance. If the house was still there, you would definitely come, but now, there's nothing you can do. What? Stop taking the easy way out and start living on your own. Oh, but maybe you can't do that. What? Don't underestimate me. I can do it if I try. Then try hard. You're going to be a mom. To be honest, a child born to you and that man is unfortunate. What? I can't imagine you two, selfish as you are, properly raising a child. Don't neglect him or her. That would be the end of you as a person. Don't insult me. I wouldn't do that. Well, I wouldn't put it past you. You're a slacker. Shut up. Just watch. I'll prove I can raise a child properly. Good. Do your best. It's none of your business. Enough. Liz hung up after saying that. With her immense pride, she'll probably take parenting seriously now. The child's innocent and deserves to be raised with care. With these thoughts, I continued my daily life with Mom. A year later, I heard that Liz broke up with Chester. Even after marriage, Chester didn't work properly and he wasn't cooperative in parenting, so she decided it was pointless to stay with him. Now she's working night jobs and using a nanny to support herself and raise the child alone. I'm taking care of my child properly. I love my child and I'm not like what you said. My daughter says she loves me and it's so cute and makes me happy. Just wanted to let you know that. One day, Liz suddenly called to say this and then quickly hung up. She's really not straightforward. It's good if Liz has genuinely changed and is raising her child well. As for Chester, he's divorced again and has been abandoned by his parents, living a freelancer's life. Apparently, he's spending his days alone, and most of his earnings go towards child support, leading to a poor lifestyle. That's on Chester. It's his responsibility. Meanwhile, I started dating someone I met at work. After a year of dating, we decided to get married. He agreed to live with Mom and I, and now the three of us are living very happily together. I look forward to creating many more memories with Mom and my husband.